I mean, really what it came down to is just, it's that taking action thing. It's those people that, I mean, you can come, you can have a plan, you can have the best laid out, blueprint for how to do things and stuff like that. But it's the people that take action is the biggest difference in the world. And then also too, just knowing, I say to back that up, it's also knowing when to ask for help, connecting with the right people that can help you out, and asking questions and just educating yourself and things like that. I think it just goes a long way. The third part of that, I think too, is just be that person that's willing to help. I know this, I think if right behind, taking action and then, connecting with the right people, asking questions stuff, it's just being able to help. And that was my story of like, throughout my life, I've just kind of jumped in, and throughout my real estate career.
The Deal Machine REI podcast. Everything you need to know to get started in real estate investing.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Deal Machine Real Estate Investing Podcast. If you've thought, man, I really don't like my job, I want to build a life I love, you're here because you want to learn this proven business model called wholesaling real estate. But if you're brand new and you see these people making $30,000 checks, it's natural to say, wow, is that actually possible? And our guest today is Brian Snider. He went from being a math teacher to actually helping build and run one of the biggest wholesaling operations in Indianapolis. And now he's the chief operating officer for the biggest mastermind, which is a fancy word for a bunch of the nation's biggest house flippers and wholesalers that pay to get together with each other and help build each other's business. Brian runs that group called Collective Genius. And so they've got the biggest flippers from across the country. And so this is going to get rid of that thought. If you ever thought like, is this actually possible? Are people doing this? And he's the perfect guest to kind of alleviate those kind of concerns and help you see a path forward. If you guys have gotten any value from any episodes of this podcast so far, please drop us a review. That's what helps us make more content to get you over the edge to financial freedom. And without further ado, Brian, why don't you bring us back to that math teacher classroom and why you decided to get into real estate?
Man, I love how you put that there at the beginning of just like, if you are not liking your job and wanting to do something else, or like, just want to get into real estate or want to do something else, like, I think real estate wholesaling is a great avenue to do that. And that was me, man. I was a math teacher teaching middle school math. Liked being a teacher, it was good, but I reached all my goals and everything. I wanted something else to do. So, got my master's to become a principal and realized that was like the worst job in the world. Did not want to become a principal at all. After I went through that and stuff. So I was just looking for something else. And I literally just teamed up with my buddy, Brett Snodgrass, and started, he already had an existing business. I came in to help him, and I had no idea what wholesaling was, anything about real estate. I never bought my own house yet. I never sold a house with you. I was complete newbie. And honestly, by teaming up with Brett, really just kind of jumping in and understanding it and learning and connecting with people like David Lecco and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I went from, really just coming in and doing some marketing stuff, helping out, to running dispo, to running operations, then took over as CEO of his whole company there for a while, for a couple of years, and was running that. Then started coaching people outside of there across the whole nation with Sharper Business Solutions. And then at the same time too, just being connected with CG and started facilitating some of their events and stuff. And then had an opportunity to become on a COO for that. So, I mean, real estate has 100% changed my life. It's changed my wife's life as well. Just like her being involved in real estate through me now and stuff. So it's changed our complete like dynamic of what we're doing, our goals and everything like that. So this is like a 6-year journey for me. So literally knowing nothing about real estate, nothing about wholesaling, 6 years later, helping run the biggest, mastermind community in the US. So it's been pretty fantastic.
Wow. That was a lot, and amazing that that's all happened in 6 years. You're such a great teacher, which is why I'm excited. One reason why I'm very excited to have you on this episode. Can you talk to us about when you were running simple wholesaling? For somebody who just hasn't done this before, what type of return on investment would somebody spend on marketing and then get back as a wholesale deal in a Midwest market, for example, because that's where simple wholesaling was? Could you break down those numbers for us just real quick?
Yeah. So as far as like, just like what people like, are you talking about like just what people would spend on a lead and then what they'd be able to get back on and stuff? So
yes, because like as a newbie, it's so, people see the big checks, but they don't see, well, what was the expense, a spend on marketing to get that check?
Yeah. So, I mean, our goal was always to have at least a $3 or, $3 for every dollar that we put into it. That's always what we wanted to do for our return on investment. And if you're going out there trying to figure out like, oh, what do I need to spend? Like, you got to do one of two things. You either got to spend time or you got to spend money. It's one or the other. So, everything, I think DealMachine is a great avenue to get into that, where you can have some low cost lead gen is what I like to refer to DealMachine, because there's a little bit of money you can put into it and time. You got to do both of those things to put that into it. But so you can do everything from, DealMachine, where we maybe make, spend about $500 to $1,000 to get a deal, to where we were like doing television ads where we were spending like $15,000 to get a deal, something like that. So we were kind of all across the board with a wide range of everything we wanted to. But if you're somebody that's getting into it right now, kind of my philosophy is, if I put $1 in within 3 months, I want to make sure I'm getting at least that dollar back. And then within 6 months, I want to make sure I'm at least getting $3 back for every dollar I put in. So that's always my philosophy. So if I'm putting $1,000 in every month, within 3 months, I want to make sure that I'm getting at least $3,000 back for those 3 months. And within 6 months, I want to have at least $9,000 back on that return.
Oh, amazing. I love how you broke it down to the 3 month, get your money back, and then 6 months, triple your return. And then in 9 months, you want to get even more, because one of the things where I got caught up as a new investor was I saw this rundown house, and those are always really, really good homes, because if they need to sell, something happens in their life, they can't probably sell it with an agent if it's run down. They would prefer typically a cash offer that lets them just sell it and get rid of it quickly. I got hung up. I was like, why isn't this person selling to me? Their house is run down. But it doesn't work like that. Like, it's been run down for a long time. So you've got to find more homes. And it does take a little bit of marketing. Basic marketing advice says people need to hear from you a few times before they respond. And so I love how you broke down that timeline to help somebody that's brand new stick with it long enough to get their money back, or their time return on investment back.
Yeah, it's I think two mistakes kind of that I see a lot of people make, especially if they're starting off, is like thinking that like, oh, I can just send out like one postcard and that person should, respond back to me. Well, reality is it's probably going to take like 6 to 8 postcards, or 6 to 8 letters, or 6 to 8 phone calls, or whatever it may be, or 6 to 8 knocks on the door to actually connect with that person and figure that out. And just like you're talking about, it's not necessarily about the house or the condition of the house. It's really about the situation that the person is going through. It's never about the house or really about the money. It's about the person and what's going on with them and what they're dealing with in their life, and what at some point they've lost control of something, and that's why their house is run down. That's why they're in the situation it is. So being that person that can come in and really help solve their problem, that's what it's all about.
A real world.
I liked how you said that the investment, because everybody wants to ask, what do I need to get started? And many times we say, you don't need money to get started in this business. The reality is there is a little bit of money that needs to be involved. Having access to DealMachine, if you're going to drive for dollars, having access to DealMachine is not free. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but the barrier of entry is less if you have more time available to put towards it. So it's one of those things that when you're starting, what do you have more of? Do you have more money availability because you're working a 9 to 5? Well, then you can change your strategy. Do you have more time availability because you left your 9 to 5? Then you change your strategy to where you pick and choose which way do you want to go. Both can be successful. I mean, my journey was a journey of I had all the time because I left the 9 to 5. So it was drive for dollars. I had access to the money, but I didn't want to start spending it on that, because to me it wasn't, proof of concept had not been done. So I like that, and I want to make sure the listeners hear you do need a little bit of money, but it's either time that you're going to pour into it, or the access to money to get it going.
Yeah, and even if you don't have much money, you got to find some money to like kind of help out that. Even if you're sending postcards to DealMachine, or you create a handout, go print out some handouts that as you're door knocking, you can hand them out. You have something. You have to have some kind of a leave behind or some kind of a tangible thing. So you're gonna have to put money into it at some point, even if it's minimal. Take that extra effort, or take that last $500 to create something that's pretty special. They can leave behind or send a postcard or do whatever, but for those people that are out there like, you can do this with no money or anything like that. You can get a deal. You can get lucky and
you can make
do
it happen.
No money, but you're gonna have to put some money behind it a little bit. And if you just have a little bit of money, you have to put a lot of time behind it too.
Yep, for sure.
So, Brian, one of the unique things that you bring to this podcast is now you're the COO of this organization that is a mastermind for people that are the biggest, house flippers. And you've got 3 different levels of that. So if you're just starting out, I think this would be valuable because you can get that first deal, but then what's around the corner? Let's help them think about like a little bit longer term. So could you break down the 3 different groups that you work with? And then maybe you could talk about what their challenges are, maybe like a top challenge of each of those groups. And then, I'll let you go with that.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the opportunity, David. Appreciate that. And really, yeah. So with the Collective Genius, so it's a mastermind community. It's really just a community where real estate investors can come together to help each other out. And essentially, my job and the team's job is to create that platform for the opportunity for investors to come together and stuff. So we do have 3 different levels. We have something called CG Elevate, CG Select, and then CG Premier. So CG Elevate is essentially for those people that they can do some deals. Like they know how to make money, they know how to wholesale a deal and stuff like that. Generally, most people in there have done at least 10 deals within a year. Somewhere around there, 8 to 10 deals. They can do that within a year. So they know how to make money. They know how to like turn those deals a little bit. Now they're ready to kind of turn it into their business. So like our tagline for Elevate is essentially double your deal flow. If you can come in there, basically what we're going to do is we're going to put you in a room, and there's 3 events throughout the year. There's a community, there's a Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. And basically we're going to just kind of teach you and coach you through a couple things that you can just tweak and basically double that deal flow. So if you're coming in doing 10 deals a year, we can get you to 20 deals a year. Yeah, kind of just help you out through that. So, and then eventually our goal is to kind of graduate you. Sorry, David, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're somebody who was like, oh, I am trying to quit a job I hate and build a life I love, there's some grind that goes with that. And doing your first 10 deals in a year is going to be like a solo operation. You may not have a life you love quite yet, but you'll probably be making more money, which is good. But so that first group you mentioned, and then the next rung is probably more about building more of a life that you love. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, that's definitely, so you're kind of in that phase, like, just like you said, you're kind of doing like 1 deal a month and you're like, I know how to do this, but now you're at the point where maybe you need to like kind of start hiring people, and we can, coach you through like kind of who that first hire would be for your business and how you want to look, and then kind of graduate into that CG Select group, which Ryan's a part of that CG Select group and an amazing go-giver in that group and stuff. But what I like to kind of mention with the CG Select group, what they're facing is like scaling responsibly. So they know how to do deals and they're turning into a business, but now it's like, where do I spend my money? How do I budget? How do I have an operations? Where are my processes? Where are my systems? Who are the next couple hires I need to have? That's really what it is. It's basically like kind of taking your business that you now have and now learning how to scale it appropriately or responsibly. And that basically kind of gets you into that premier level, which, David, you're a premier level member and you've been for a while and stuff, but that's where people are really, that now it becomes more about like legacy and lifestyle. Now I have a business, I've scaled it. Now I'm going to turn this business into what I want for the lifestyle that I need to make. So maybe we have some people that kind of graduate out. They sit in the owner's box and they hire people that run their businesses for them, or some people in there too. They just want to grow that business as big as they can, and they're multiple strategies. They're doing multiple different things. They're wholesaling, they're novating, they're flipping, they have apartments, commercial stuff, all kinds of things. So that premier level really kind of takes it. Most people in there are doing like at least 100 deals a year in some different fashions and stuff, but it's really kind of that legacy thing of what they're really building that lifestyle for.
Got it. So Ryan, you're in the middle group, right? Do you feel like you have a life that you love yet, or are you in the weeds still?
Depends on the day.
That's probably
not
a Ryan question.
yeah, exactly. No, I feel like I love my life.
Well, the journey's sure as well, right?
The journey it's all about the journey, man. There's so much stuff that you learn and so many opportunities. Go back to the very beginning. Could I have ever dreamed that I would be in the position I am right now, where I have 48 rental properties, where I'm running a wholesaling business, a construction business.
You got to update your Instagram profile, man. It still says
it's time. Yeah, it's definitely grown. But yeah, like, couldn't have imagined that I'd be and having the freedom to go and do what we want, when we want, like that is it's a really cool freedom, and you get that. And for us, it's been we're coming up on the 4-year mark, but that's such a short period of time. If you think about how quickly time passes and how quickly you can change the trajectory of your life just in this world, like real estate, there's so many strategies to make money in real estate. And it's a matter of surrounding yourself with people that can walk you through that.
Right.
So, like Ryan, you were just saying that it's happened within like 4 years for you. I was just talking about how it's happened within 6 years for me. David, when did you create DealMachine? That was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah. So we like between the three of us, it's like look how drastically our lives have changed because we just we did that one deal, and sometimes it's doing that first deal and then like getting over the hump and then connecting with the right people, building the right relationships, and putting yourselves in the right room where you really can change your life.
Mm-hmm. Please open up your podcast app right now and leave us a review and let us know what you thought of this episode. It means so much because the reviews help us get in front of more people. And the more people we can get in front of, the more we can help them achieve financial freedom. And we also get more energy to put more content out like this to help you. So by leaving us a review, it will give you more content to come to help you along in your journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah. We've said it before, and I always, in fact, yesterday I said it to a group of people in an education course, that it's not, you have to make sure that you're doing the things to set yourself up for that future. Like, we didn't know what it was going to turn into, but I already knew in order for me to gain enough passive income, wholesale wasn't passive. It was only a stepping stone to help me get enough rental properties, which was going to give me the passive income. And so, and I know this has been repeated many times, but sometimes hearing it over and over and over helps it sink in. You have to make sure that you're putting yourself in that position. You get the influx of cash, but you're also building for the future as well, because that's the only way that it's going to give you the life you want. Nobody wants to look at it like you're leaving your 9-to-5 to go into another 9-to-5. Sometimes wholesaling can make its own 9-to-5. Like, you could be working nonstop in wholesaling. You really can. So set yourself up, give yourself opportunity for the future to not be in the grind all the time.
100%. I think with Ryan, what you said there too, that's my favorite thing about CG. And I've been a member of CG before I came on board. I've been a member for 6 years and stuff. But like the thing that I noticed was just like, it put me in the room with people that are doing things way bigger and better than what I'm doing. And allowed me to like find those people like, man, I love what this person's doing. I want to build a lifestyle like him, or I want to be doing that. And I was unaware of a lot of that stuff. But just like you're saying, Ryan, you guys are working with a lot of wholesalers and talking to a lot of wholesalers, through DealMachine and stuff like that. But, if you're wholesaling 10 deals, can you keep one of them? Can you just start building that a little bit of a passive income and keep that? And all of a sudden that just starts building up. And then all of a sudden you're like Ryan Haywood and you have 48 rental properties and you're pretty solid. So, yeah.
It happens fast. So that's the thing, is time is such a quick moving thing. And if you sit back and you look and you're not happy with where you're at, it doesn't take long to change it. It just takes action. You just have to go out and do that first deal. But then don't get complacent in, well, I'll just do a deal every month. And don't look at it like that. Like, you're never going to get out of it doing a deal a month. It's only going to give you more of a, I have to do it every day now, So, but yeah, to your point, getting in Select, that was the moment that like sent us to the next level. And that next level happened pretty quickly because
when you got in Select,
we just had completed our first year, and that was 72 or 73 deals in the first year.
Was it?
But I didn't know what
you have anyone else helping out.
It was Meg and I, and we had a TC, a transaction coordinator. That was it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. We have a team of 8 now.
Okay. And how is that different now? Like, how does that feel?
I close transactions that I don't even know existed.
Right. You get a check.
Yeah. I'll, hey, the deposit, I'll look at the bank account. I'll be like, Did we have some closings? What went down here?
That's amazing.
Right. That's
the best feeling in the world right there. You build that team to where all of a sudden, like, you don't know what the house looks like that you even just sold, and the team takes care of it for you. And it's
right.
Such an amazing feeling.
We have a first right of refusal clause that every deal that our team gets, we want to have the first right of refusal.
To keep it as a rental.
What sucks, it's a
really great deal, right?
Correct. What sucks is that sometimes I'm not paying attention and there's deals that have slipped because I have a window. It's like, hey, I got 24 hours to make sure I'm looking at the deals. I'm sometimes in doing something else and I lose that opportunity. That's what's different now.
So building that wholesaling company, it not only generates a lot of cash, because buying rental properties takes cash, but it also builds your skill in finding great real estate deals. So now you're able to cherry pick really great deals where you do have the cash to buy them. And then as soon as you buy them, you instantly increase your net worth because you bought it with a lot of equity that comes with it. That's amazing. Speaking of changing, what's that?
Today we bought this fourplex. It's been a little over a year. It was a fire damage property that we got from a city official lead. It was $30,000 for this fourplex. I've only fixed one unit.
Okay.
Today we got the appraisal back. The as-is value is $160,000.
Oh, that's crazy. So you got $100,000.
I still have 3 units. Yeah, $130,000 in equity, and I have only fixed one unit, which is rented for $850.
What kind of lead did you say that was?
It was a lead I got from the city, the dangerous building inspector.
Okay.
It was a fire damage. They called and they're like, hey, this house burned. It was the next day they called me.
And how did they know you were the right person to call?
That's a really long story. That was a CG presentation that got a belt. So I had
it's all about relationships.
Basically, you weren't shy about buying down homes, right? You kind of told everybody. You posted on social media, and then you started getting referrals from people.
Yep. I built a relationship with the city. They knew what we were doing. We gave them proof of what we were doing. We showed them houses that we were responsible for fixing. And then all of a sudden the conversation is, well, we know of these 2 other houses. Would you be interested in those? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so that is exactly how that fourplex lead come around. So that lead immediately made me $130,000.
That's amazing. And I love how CG Select helped you build that team so you can close those checks without even knowing the transactions are happening. And one thing that you said too is if you want to change your life, it doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes action. And so Brian, I remember when we both lived in Indianapolis, you actually ran a meetup and the primary goal was to help new wholesalers get a deal. And I believe you guys would even buy them from them, right? Can you talk to me about people you met that were successful and maybe some others that came to that meetup and struggled? What's the difference?
Yeah, well, I mean, really what it came down to is just, it's that taking action thing. It's those people that, I mean, you can come, you can have a plan, you can have the best laid out, blueprint for how to do things and stuff like that. But it's the people that take action is the biggest difference in the world. And then also too, just knowing, I say to back that up, it's also knowing when to ask for help, connecting with the right people that can help you out. And asking questions and just educating yourself and things like that. I think it just goes a long way. The third part of that, I think too, is just be that person that's willing to help. I know this, I think if right behind, taking action and then, connecting with the right people, asking questions and stuff, it's just being able to help. And that was my story of like, throughout my life, I've just kind of jumped in, and throughout my real estate career, I've just kind of jumped in. It's like, hey, do you need some help? That's how I got connected with Sharper Business Solutions. And just said, Gary was our coach. I said, man, I love what you guys are doing. Like, is there any way I can help you out? All of a sudden I'm out there coaching other teams and helping other teams out and stuff. Same thing. I was coaching a lot of people that were in CG Select. I reached out to Leon Barnes with CG, their VP of membership, and basically said, man, I love these people that are in CG Select. Like, that's my favorite client to go coach and really work with them because they're eager and they're growing their businesses. Like, I love that level. And he's like, actually, we're looking for a facilitator if you would be interested in jumping in and helping out and stuff. I just kind of put it out there, and it happened to be there for him. And then next month, Jason Medley, the owner of CG, he gets COVID. He can't facilitate that the next event. So they asked me to jump in and facilitate that. fast forward, like within 9 months, it's basically I'm offered a job as a COO of CG. So I think it's kind of along with those people that are taking action, asking for help, but then also putting yourself out there. Don't be, just because you might not be getting something from it, but if you're willing to help other people out, I think it just always comes back to you and stuff. So it's been my story, and I mean, I really enjoy that part of helping other people, but it comes back to me tenfold whenever I do it.
Yeah. Okay, here's something that happened to me today. Somebody just reached out. They're like, hey, I'd love to take you to lunch on my dollar so that you can talk to me about real estate investing. And I want to help this person, but I don't need my lunch bought. You know, somebody that's done what you want to accomplish, they probably don't need their lunch bought. What I would recommend to that person is like, you know, just be around me, go to events that I talk about. And also, if you find a great deal, like, you know, pay attention, maybe send that to me, right? I think oftentimes it can feel like a burden when you just be like, well, what can I do to help? And it's like, I don't really know. But if you have like a deal, or, you know, you're kind of paying attention to things I'm interested in, you send them my way. I love that. I like really like that. Brian, I'm curious, did you do anything similar to that? Or, you know, how did they know that you were going to be the right person to facilitate, for example?
I don't know. I still don't know why they thought it would be me, but no, it's worked out pretty well and stuff. So I think it comes back to my, you know, the teacher mentality of just, I love, you know, I like being in front of the room. I like facilitating. I like, you know, it's just like teaching. You're teaching adults and just helping people out. So I thought it was pretty natural. And honestly, when I'm in the front of the room like that too, it does feel natural. I feel like I'm back in the classroom and helping out and stuff. So I think that definitely helps out.
You probably weren't shy to speak up, right? You were participating already, and you were contributing. You were helping people answer their questions during their presentations. And I bet they noticed that, right? That's why they knew that you would be really good for that.
Yeah, I can't shut up. So I'm going to put my opinion out. No, I'm just going to, I'm always really good. But if somebody's up there like asking for help and stuff, I'm going to, you know, let them know, you know, not to say what my opinion is, but I think what best practices, like what I think might be best for them and stuff. That offering that up, I think is very valuable. So David, I want to come back to something you were saying before about that gentleman that was like kind of asking you like to go for lunch and stuff like that. But what are some things that people can do? I think between us three on here, I'd say our most valuable thing, 100%, we know it, is time. Like that's the most valuable thing in all of our lives and stuff. So if you're somebody that's out there and you're looking to help somebody out or put yourself in a position to talk to a David Lecko or a Ryan Haywood or something like that, like think about, is there anything you can do to help save them time? That's going to be the best thing you can do to put yourself out there in front of somebody that can, you know, you're bringing them value in some way and helping them out in some way, but you can offer them time back in any way in their lives. I think that's going to be the best way to put yourself in front of somebody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I just randomly thought of this. I kind of want to reply and be like, if you can put together, you know, like 5 to 10 other people that want to learn about real estate investing, I'll host you in my condo and I'll feed you guys. And like, let's all talk for an hour. Like, that's kind of what I want to say back to him, because then I get the value of meeting 10 new people, and it's still just an hour of my time. Right. And then he learns what he wants to learn. And, you know, that's, I think, what I'm going to talk to him and see if he can put something together like that. That would be really fun for me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea.
That'd be so valuable for him, because he has to put some time in to set that up and get the people together and stuff like that. But just collaborating with not just David, but
other people,
collaborating with 5, 10 other people. That's what it's all about. Like, you're going to get a ton of information out of that.
I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm like pumped.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, cool. What's Brian, there's so many directions we can go with this. I feel like this has truly been pretty exciting for somebody who's just starting out. They can see around the corner. Is there anything that you're really passionate about, maybe the way real estate changed your life, or how you've seen other people transform like Ryan, that we could drop and we could share?
I think what it comes down is like, it's what we've just been talking about over the last few minutes too. It's don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And, you know, that I love the fact that, like, we just go back to the situation you're saying. I love the fact that guy reached out to you and said, hey, you want to have lunch? He's trying to put himself in a situation, and you might have something for him and you know, create an opportunity, but be thinking about that too. Just like, how can you put yourself in the room with somebody that has been through it, that has done that? I kind of look back at my life. Like, there was a point in my life where I prided myself so much on being like the smartest person in my group of friends, or the person that kind of had it all together and stuff like that. now I pride myself on being like the lowest person in the room. Like I want to be around the people that are like way ahead of me, that have done amazing things. And that's what I always look for. So I think if you can be that person that like figure out like maybe what you might not know what your 10-year goal is, like, to a certain point, but know what you want to get to, know what kind of lifestyle you want to lead, what kind of life you want to be living, and just start kind of writing that stuff down, and then put yourself around people that are close to how you want to be living your life, and the closest doing the things that you want to be doing, and figure out how to put yourselves in those situations around those people. And if you do that, it's only going to help you out. It's going to change if it doesn't do anything, and if you can't like push towards that, it's going to change your mentality, because you're going to see how other people are doing things. And that was the biggest change for me.
That's amazing that you write down how you want your life to be, what types of people you want to spend your life with, was because once you've written it down, then you kind of start to see the world as opportunities to make that happen. And an example that I'm thinking of is a guest we had on, Aaron Amuchastegui. I think he's got like 500 rentals that he owns half with. He's here in Austin. He's become a friend of mine. And I was like, man, Aaron, everything you invite me to is just an incredible experience. He's been inviting me to the club at these VIP tables and a few other parties and stuff. And it's always something I really enjoy. And he responded, it surprised me. He goes, well, yeah, it's on my vision board that everything I invite you to would be an incredible experience. I'm like, whoa, like this guy like thought this out, and he's like intentionally wanting to be so generous to like invite people to these amazing experiences. Like another thing that he did was he bought season tickets to the Austin soccer team, Austin football club. And they're not just any seats. Like there's couches. There's like these couches that are like, those are his seats. He has like 8 couch seats. And so, every time they have a game, I don't know, 20 games a year, he just kind of like has on his schedule is an opportunity to just invite new people he recently met and get to know them better. And so, I mean, I was like inspired that this was intentional. Like he's made a lot of money, and now he like wants to use that money to like enrich his life and others around him. And so I was just kind of surprised that he had like thought it out, but it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, you brought up the key word right there. Is it intentional? Like he knows why he's doing that. Like if you're out there and you're just you're going through life and you're just not quite sure what that next thing, like you got to be intentional about what you're going to do. If you're going to be intentional about losing weight, you have to wake up in the morning and go out and run and, eat healthy, and you got to do those things. If you want to educate yourself on something, you have to be intentional about it. So that's what he's doing. He's being intentional about all the connections he makes. There's a reason behind everything. If you want to get that first deal, you have to be intentional about it and put those steps in place to do that. If you want to put yourself around the right people, you have to be intentional about it and create steps along the way to get there.
Well, to wrap up this episode, I've got some fire questions for you, Brian. And I know you're going to have some fun answers. I haven't asked you these before. Would you rather have $1,500 or backstage passes to go see Gwen Stefani?
I'll take the $1,500. Well,
I can. What's the artist? What's the artist that you would go see backstage?
I don't know. So Need to Breathe is my favorite artist. They're kind of small, so love Need to Breathe. But Chris Stapleton are probably the one that I haven't seen yet. That if I got backstage passes to, like big person, like that's like probably Chris Stapleton would be the one to go see. But I'm just thinking like $1,500. I know I can put that to work. I can. Go, DealMachine some houses and send some postcards to DealMachine with that $1,500. So I know I can create enough money off of that $1,500 to go buy backstage Chris Stapleton tickets. So that's my.
There you go. All right, I got another one for you. What do you think is wrong with the real estate market today? Like, what's being done wrong?
That's a pretty loaded question right there. So. I think it's going to come down to, I think people that are people that are doing things dishonestly, I think that's always going to be like leave a bad mark on anything. So if you're a wholesaler out there that you're lying to your sellers, or you're you're locking up deals on the MLS without telling the agent what's really going on. If you're doing things like that, like I think that just leaves a bad mark on the industry, the real estate, market in general and stuff. So I'll go with that answer versus all the stuff that the way that the Fed is messing up the interest rates and all that stuff. So we'll stay away from that for now.
Yeah. Good call.
What's wrong with the real estate market is you guys don't charge enough for collective genius. It's so valued that you guys just aren't even charging enough. So you guys should definitely No, I'm just kidding. Don't charge me more. I think you do, but I think you've grandfathered in some older members as like a thank you for being a member for a while.
There we go. That's a good answer. I should have geared it a little bit towards that. That's what's wrong with the real estate market. More people aren't getting into the right rooms like Collective Genius to better their lives. That's what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
All right, Brian. When are you going to move to Portugal? I've heard you say this is one thing you and your wife have thought about.
Yeah, so my wife is originally from Portugal, the Azores Islands, and we own property over there right now. But the construction and rehab crews over there, they're so backed up that for us to like rehab the house that we currently own, it would be like we want to be in it for like another 4 years. So they want to be able to start from like another 2.5 years, and we want to be able to be in it for like 4 years.
Why does it take so long?
It's crazy over there.
Construction in Portugal?
Because
why?
It's since it's out in the middle of the Atlantic, like there's materials are tough to come by. There's only like 3 main crews that do the work over there. Everything has to be approved step by step through the city, so it's just it's a long process. Plus, a lot of people are moving over there, so there's just a lot of projects going on right now. So I don't have a timeline on that. If it was up to me, I would just move over there tomorrow and figure it out. But my wife likes things a little bit more planned out than that. So
it sounds like you and your wife have a good balance.
She does a great job of balancing me out. We'll put it that way.
Brian, where can people connect with you if they want to get in touch?
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me. My best way, email, is just Brian at thecollectivegenius.com. Easiest way to get in contact with me. I'll go ahead and throw my cell phone out as well if you want to hit me up. So 740-605-1883. More than happy to help anybody out. If you're interested in CG or, having a conversation about real estate, more than happy to help you out with that.
Oh my gosh, I am blown away that you're giving out your cell phone number.
If you do message, text me. Don't call me. I'm not going to answer if you call me, but if you text me, I'll respond.
There we go. Yeah, say you on this podcast, and I'm just blown away that more people don't take advantage of that because they think they're going to bug you. So I really think you guys should reach out to Brian. He's been so generous. It would be a gift for him to hear from you. So don't hesitate to do that. I know he'll really enjoy answering your question. Well, with that, thank you so much, Brian. It's been a pleasure. And I know we've got to have you back on. You have such a wealth of knowledge and so many experiences that we didn't even get to touch on. So if you're open for it, would love to have you on in a couple months.
Anytime. Happy to talk to you guys anytime.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.